Ya 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 da da da. Ya da 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 ya da da da. Ya da 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 da. Ya ya da ya da da ya da 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 ya da. Ya da 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 da. Ay ya da da da. Ya da da ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 ya ya da da ya da da ya da 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 ya da ya da 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 ay ya da 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 ya da da ya da 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 dum ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 ya yada da yada da yada da 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 dum yada da da he da da I ya da 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 ya da da ya da 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 dum ya da 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 he da 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 yada da 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 ya yada da yada da yada da da ya da ya ba ba ya he ya da ay ya da 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 ya da da ya da 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 dum ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da da ya da da ya da 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 ya da ya da 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 he da da ay ya da 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 ya da da ya da 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 dum ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 ya ya da da ya da da ya da 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 ya da ya da da הנה אל ישועתי אפתח ולא אפחד כי עוזי וזמרת אדוני ויהי לי ישועה ושבתם מים בששון ממעייני הישועה לאדוני הישועה למך ביחתך סלע אדוני צבאות עמנו משכב לנו אלוהי יעקב סלע אדוני צבאות אשרי אדם בוטח בך אדוני הישוע המלך עננו ויום קוראנו ליהודים הייתה אורה ושמחה וששון ויקר כן תהיה לנו תהיה לנו תהיה לנו ליהודים הייתה אורה ושמחה וששון ויקר כן תהיה לנו תהיה לנו תהיה לנו כוש ישועות אשא ובשם אדוני אקרא אמן כוש ישועות אשא ובשם אדוני אקרא אמן Yai dai ya ba 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 yai dai dai ya da 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 dum ya da 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 ya dai da ya dai yai yai ya da 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 yai dai ya da 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 dum ya da 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 ya dai da 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei puri hagafen, borei puri hagafen. Yai dai 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 dum. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Ay 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 ay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei minei v'samim, borei minei v'samim. Yai dai da 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 da. Yai dai ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 ya 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 da 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 da. Yai dai ya da 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 dum. Yai dai ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 ya da da ya da 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 da. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei miorei haesh, borei miorei haesh. Ay ay ya da 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 dum, ya da 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 da, ya da 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 ya da da, ay 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 da. Yai dai ya da 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 dum. Ya dai ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 ya 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 da da dum. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Hamavdil ben kodesh lechol. Hamavdil ben kodesh lechol. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishmi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Bimera B'Yameinu, Yavo Aleinu, Imoshiach ben David, Imoshiach ben David. Shavua Tov, everyone. As we close out Shabbat together with Havdalah, what a beautiful ceremony it is to remind us of the sweetness of the wine that we brought Shabbat in with, as we remember the sweetness of Shabbat with the spices, to hold on to the scent of Shabbat all week long. And the braided candle, we started with 2 candles, Shamor v'Zachor, to keep and to remember those might be for Shabbat. But then at the end of Shabbat, we use a multi-wicked candle, realizing how each and every one of us has a unique flame. And as we come together, we twist and turn and weave each other together into a brighter, greater light that we hope that will take us throughout the week until we arrive back at Shabbat. And so we come upon the Omer. And before we count the Omer, since we officially ended Shabbat, before we count, we're in this limbo period. And we think about what we're grateful for in these moments, grateful for today, what gratitude we have. Today is a beautiful day, weather-wise. It was just really, really nice. And I went to my nephew's baseball game, and it was like, a close call at first base. And, he's 8 and playing real travel for the first time. And, you know, you think you're safe, but the umpire calls you out. And when you're 8, it's one of those things that, you either are really, really mad and you do silly things, or you come off crying, or sometimes you just get it. And so he was visibly upset, and Ellis was there, and it was just so sweet to see him, even though Georgie was not really wanting to be receptive of love and affection. But Ellis was sensing how upset he was, and he went over and he gave him a big hug, whether he wanted it or not. And it was just sweet to see. And then later on, we went swimming at Rabbi Jay's house, and Georgie wasn't there, but Ellis looked at me and he said, "I hope Georgie's feeling better." And so to see the sweetness in children, it's the things that parents only hope that their children will be, sympathetic and empathetic and just loving. And so how beautiful it was to see that, and great to go swimming and whatever else the day brought. But just the beauty in the day is to stop and pause and see that there is such beauty amidst all that is so shitty in the world. And so we're here to count the Omer together. We're here to figure out what today is. And so you may be wondering why I think it's cool, but you may be wondering why there is what we would typically be a bonfire, and I'll tip the camera a little bit. But because Ellis is sleeping inside and Andrea wasn't home, I got this really cool new thing. And so today, once we count, I'll talk about what it is. But that is a tabletop fire pit. And for all the people that have breathing issues that can't deal with fire pits, Rabbi Jay got one of these, and I thought, wow, that's so lame. I love the smell of the burning wood, and when you go inside and you still smell like it, but he can't be around it. And so I decided, well, you know what? Maybe since Ellis is sleeping, I don't really have time to go building a fire and all of these things. It takes time. It's got to get to where it's going. But this thing is pretty awesome. And so it is a tabletop fire pit that is actually just burning rubbing alcohol. So there's no smell, there's no nothing, there's no cleanup, there's no mess, there's no getting rid of the, little particles and all the black that gets all over you. And so I thought it's pretty cool. So let's count and let's figure out why we even have this going on for today. Not to say that it's just not nice for Havdalah. It's kind of nice to be outside. It's beautiful out. A crisp night, and a fire is always beautiful. But let's count the Omer. Let's do it together. Let's figure out what this day is about. Let's figure out why we're here. Hine el Yeshuati started us with the closing of Shabbat. And the Omer starts us with L'shem yichud kushabrichu ushchinte hineni muchan umizuman lekayem mitzvat aseh shel sfirat haomer shel sfirat haomer shel sfirat haomer shel sfirat haomer hayom shlosha ve'esrim yom shehem arba'a shavuot v'chamisha yamim la'omer. Today is day 33, which is 4 weeks and 5 days of the Omer. Don't think I wasn't coming out here with this. Of course I was. And so it's nice and magnified and beautified and lit up as we have our next blue tile, blue on blue. Hod, Sheba Hod, Hod within Hod. I wish I could see these comments, but s'more couldn't be better than that. So Hod within Hod. What does that even mean? Simplicity within simplicity, humility within humility, gratitude within gratitude, awe within awe, glory within glory. So today's Lag BaOmer. What does that even mean? The 33rd day of the Omer is during the Omer period. Traditionally, there's no cutting hair, there's no getting married, there's no festive celebrations. But on the 33rd day, it is a release of that. So people get haircuts. This is like prime wedding day. I didn't have one to officiate, but I think it's more so in the more religiously observant. Ugh, I hate the word religious. Anyway, more so in the Orthodox community, some in the conservative community, certainly in the ultra-Orthodox community. And so what is Lag BaOmer? It is where the normal prohibitions of the Omer are lifted. And so here's one of those theories for this. There's always like a theory. There's always some, I'll say the theory, and then the next person in the, one seat over from me will say, no, that's not it. It's this theory. So I share with you a little bit of wisdom. Take with it what you want. For me, Lag BaOmer is about not releasing prohibition. It's about being out and doing something different. Like, we've worked all of this hard work and we keep working, and this we change it up. There's bonfires and celebrations and just being there to make s'mores if that's what you want, I only have the little marshmallows and they burn too fast, so we're not doing that tonight. So it says it may be that Rabbi Akiva's students stopped dying of the plague on this day. I'm like, what? That doesn't make sense. On this day. And it was a momentary victory against the Romans. It is the it is believed that Rabbi Shimon ben Yohai died on this day, one of the 5 surviving disciples of Rabbi Akiva. He's said to be the author of the Zohar, the main mystical Jewish teaching of Kabbalists. So there's Judaism, and then there's Kabbalah, which is mystical teachings by Jewish sages, which are pretty awesome. And so most of what we talk about with the Sefirot, which is the Omer, the weeks of the Omer, those Sfira, those orbs, those weeks of Chesed, of Gevura, of Tiferet, of all of the things that we're working on in the weeks that we're working on, all of the characteristics and attributes that we are working on within self, are said to come from this Rabbi Shimon bar Yohai, which was a disciple of Rabbi Akiva. And so he requested that his death not be marked in sadness, and his death should come with rejoicing. So on the anniversary of his death, he didn't want something to be, this mourning period, which it felt like the whole Omer counting, there's no celebration. So it feels like a dampening of spirit when we, the practitioners of Omer counting, are like, what are you talking about? This is when we're doing the work. So maybe it's that it's hard and makes it not feel like we're celebrating because we have to actually do work. That's up for debate, whatever you think about that. So he felt that it should be a time of rejoicing as the soul takes its proper place with the source of life, meaning that, hey, don't celebrate in a way that is less than. Celebrate rather that my soul is returning to the source. Don't dampen your spirit because I'm dead. Instead, celebrate that my soul is returning back to the one that is, to Alom Haba, the world to come, heaven as we know it, back to God, however that feels for you. So bonfires bring light into the world. And so bonfires were said to be the way they celebrated at the victory against the Romans. So today's a time we celebrate like the great teachers in our lives. We think about how many people have brought us to this moment. The practice for Hod Sheba Hod, for humility and simplicity and gratitude mostly, is to say we've learned so much from our teachers. It's not just Rabbi Akiva or, you know, it's not only who we learn from the sages. It's not only the great rabbis, the great theologians, the great mystics, it's not about only those ones that are like, you wind up in awe of these people because you just can't believe that they're up here. Sometimes our greatest educators, our greatest teachers, the ones that deserve most gratitude, are the people that we encounter every single day. We're constantly learning from people. It's not about what degree you have, rather, it's your impact on the world. And so there is in Hod, in the week of Hod, and Hod, Sheba Hod, Hod within Hod, it's this idea that, hey, wait a second. We are in a place right now of awe. There is awe dropping, awesome people that are right in our midst. Right in our midst. Just like when we see fire, we see a fire being built, or we see this version of an alcohol, rubbing alcohol kind of fire, whatever that is. But when we see flame, it is something to be awed by. It is like the beauty and the power of fire. Yes, and some of us have had really traumatic experiences with fire, and I know that this may be triggering for you, and trust me, I'm feeling for you in this moment. But there is also such beauty and such power within fire. And so it's a reminder that every journey and challenge ought to have breaks and pause. Like, look around and see how far you've come. Be grateful for the teachers that have showed you the way, whether it was intentional or whether it was just simply witnessing acts, or it was the teachers that, you know what, we learn also what we should and shouldn't do based on bad examples sometimes. We often learn from those that are doing less than perfect things, right? We realize consequences, we realize the things that we see in the world affect us in different ways, each of us as individuals. And so as we go into the world, we learn from everyone around us, and those people that are open hearted and open mind to learn from all is the true blessing. And that's where we come to Hod Sheba Hod. We come from a place of gratitude within gratitude, awe within awe. Some of the most simple teachings are: look at a fire, watch it, watch how it sparks and it dims out and it comes back to life. And so too shall we celebrate the brightness in our lives, and also the moments where the fire is barely seen, only to know that it comes back. Come on, come back. Yeah, there we go. It comes back. So tonight, what is our homework on Lag BaOmer is to celebrate the small victories that we have in our lives. Also to celebrate those that we are so grateful for, that we learn from each and every single day. I'm grateful to be with all of you. I'm just going to grab this closer to me so I can see who's with us. It's part of the thing about being on the phone. Margaret and Ariella, Linda, Debbie, Bonnie, Bet, Rachel, Amy, all of you that are here, all of you that will watch later. What a beautiful blessing it has been to be with all of you. We are one human family, one heart of abundant love. We love you. I'll be back here tomorrow Sunday. I'll be back here tomorrow night at 9:30. Let's take this day of Lag BaOmer. Let's celebrate with light. Let's also illuminate the world for others, whether we're teaching them intentionally or just leading by example. And let's thank those that have taught us along the way. That's the practice for today. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a beautiful day. Know that you are light and you are a blessing. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. 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 Od Avinu Chai.